Ora então, Sr. Embaixador, muito bem-vindo a Belmonte, bem-vindo a esta terra, uma terra que, por natureza, acolhe e gosta de acolher personalidades e, segundo aquilo que já me chegou, hoje também foi o caso. Belmonte está a gostar muito de o receber aqui e nesta sua visita. Desde já agradecer-lhe também a disponibilidade de nos conceder esta entrevista, que é no fundo também uma entrevista que vai ficar para a memória futura e da história de Belmonte e também desta comunidade aqui local. Muito obrigado. Sr. Embaixador Dor Shapira, a visita hoje a Belmonte, nesta data, tem alguma razão especial, tem algum sentimento especial para o Sr. Embaixador?
First of all, thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to be in Belmonte and to visit. I received a warm welcome first of all, from the president of the city, but also from the people and from the Jewish community and from the people that work at the municipality. So it's really warmed my heart to get this kind of welcoming from the people of Belmonte. So I thank you for that. I decided to come and visit. Belmonte was one of those places that for me it was very important to come and visit. And that because of two reasons. First of all, as an ambassador of the State of Israel, it's my duty to visit as many places in Portugal I can in order to see in what way Israel and the place I visit could cooperate in order to take the relations between my country and your country to new levels. So that's why, first of all, it's important for me to get out of Lisbon and visit more places, speak with more people, and find more opportunities in order to work on the cooperation between Israel and Portugal. The second reason is the uniqueness of the story of Belmonte. And Belmonte has a very unique story in the story of the Jewish communities all around the world. And that's something that I really wanted to come here and to learn more about the city and about the Jewish community that was here and the Jewish community that is still here, and to learn more about this story, to know it better, and also to see how we can take this story and to learn from it, and also to see how we can take this story and maybe to be able to tell it to more and more people that come and visit here.
E já conhecia a comunidade judaica de Belmonte? Já tinha convivido com a comunidade judaica de Belmonte?
So the story of the Jewish community of Belmonte is well known in Israel. It's a story that became more popular in the recent years. And that's why you see here more and more tourist groups from Israel coming and visiting here, wanting to see in their own eyes the story of the Jewish community of Belmonte. So I knew about this story, but it's one thing to know about the story, and it's another thing to be here and to see it in your own eyes and to talk with the people and to visit in the synagogue and to visit in the Jewish museum in order to really understand at least a bit of this story of the Jewish community of Belmonte.
Deduzo que foi uma boa sensação. Qual foi a sensação que sentiu ao visitar a sinagoga de Belmonte, ao visitar o Museu de Belmonte e apreciar todo aquele espólio da história dos judeus do mundo?
Look, for me, as an ambassador of the Jewish state, to come and visit in places where you know that for so many years Jewish people here were not allowed to practice their Judaism and had to hide their Judaism. And now they're in a process that they can speak about it and they can practice it as Jews. They can have synagogues. They can go outside with the yarmulke. They can celebrate the festival freely. So to see it, it's very important for me. And it really shows us that, first of all, Portugal learned from the past, but also the Jewish community are learning from the past in order to see how they can be stronger and much more, and again, once again, more influential in the Portuguese society. So that's a very powerful message that you get when you visit in such a place.
Na opinião do Sr. Embaixador, a comunidade judaica de Belmonte está a representar bem e a levar ao mundo, para fora de portas, o judaísmo e toda a tradição dos judeus?
I think it is, because, in a different kind of ways. There are many ways. I think the uniqueness of the Jewish community of Belmonte, that they were able to preserve their Judaism throughout all those years, even when it wasn't allowed. And it was forbidden all around Portugal. and all around this area, still they were able to keep the rituals in such a way that, first of all, we need to give them the full respect for doing it for so many years and teaching us how the power of tradition. I think that's something that we need to respect them for. And to come here and see these stories, it's just extraordinary.
Com a presença e com esta visita do Sr. Embaixador, a comunidade judaica, o que é que pode vir também a receber, a ganhar?
So, as I said before, as ambassador from the State of Israel, which is the Jewish state, I see it as my obligation to represent not only the people of Israel, that's my number one duty, to represent the people of Israel, but I would say maybe my number two duty is also to be, not to represent, but to work with Jewish communities around the world. So it is also my duty and my obligation to work with the Jewish community of Belmonte in order to help them and to assist them to once again to become stronger and more influent and a very important part of this city and of this country. And that's something which I think is already happening. It's not something that we are doing, it's already happening because of the people of this community. We are here as a State of Israel only to help them in any case, in any way that they need.
Este fim de semana, e já falámos na visita ao Museu Judaico, ao seu espólio, este fim de semana também ficou mais rico com a memoração de Arieron e também a cedência do espólio de Samuel Schwartz. O Museu Judaico ficou mais rico, a sinagoga também já tive a oportunidade de conhecer a sua opinião, ficou satisfeito. No modo geral, esta visita a Belmonte, o que é que lhe diz?
I think the Jewish Museum has two main duties. The first one is to teach Judaism to people who know nothing about it. So lots of school students which I know that are coming to visit there, and to tell the story of the Jewish people at large. That's the number one project or a duty of this museum. The second one is to tell the unique story of the Jewish community of Belmonte. And I think by doing taking those two things, the Jewish Museum here is doing it in a very good way. Now, adding to that more things like the exhibition that you've been able to put yesterday, and to the contribution to Schwartz book, I think it's very important because it adds more values to the museum. So it's not only, as I said, the main two ideas of this museum is what I spoke about, but adding more things to it, it adds more things for the museum, and also it reaches the museum and the people that visit there and update it and keep it more relevant. So I think it's a very good thing, and I hope that they will continue to do that because it's important to update and to make sure that the museum will be suitable and reachable for all kinds of society here in Portugal, but also tourists who are coming from the outside.
Neste momento, em Israel, habitam famílias que partiram de Belmonte. Qual o significado para o Embaixador de Israel em Portugal ter gente de Portugal a viver em Israel?
Look, the State of Israel was established in 1948, and the main reason for that it happened is in order to show to Jewish people all around the world that they have a state, that if something bad happens, they know that they can always count on their state to take care of them, because that's something we learned from the history for the last not only 75 years, but even more than that, 500 years ago, 2,000 years ago, we learned our lesson. And that's why it was so important for us to have a Jewish state that will be strong enough to defend itself, and it will be open for Jews from all around the world to come there and live there and have their house. And that's why we support Jewish people to move to Israel and to build their house there. But, you know, the president of Belmonte explained to me that it's important for him also that the Jewish community will stay in Belmonte, so I'm not going to fight with him about that. And I understand his position. But us, as a Jewish state, we will always be open, and we will always open our hands to all Jews from all around the world to come and live in Israel.
Já me respondeu à questão que eu ia fazer a seguir, portanto, neste momento esse mate também Israel de portas abertas, os judeus de Belmonte, e não só, aqueles que no mundo ouvirem esta mensagem do Sr. Embaixador ficarão com certeza muito contentes e satisfeitos por ver que continua Israel de portas abertas para receber então famílias de judeus e aumentar também a vossa população e recebê-los.
Israel was always the home state of the Jewish people and they are always welcome to come back. But if they live outside of Israel, we need to make sure that they are strong and they have all their rights in every place they live around the world. It could be Belmonte, but it could be also Ukraine or Russia and other places. Even in Ethiopia, they can live there. And it's our duty, as I said before, as the representative of the Jewish state, to make sure that they have peaceful and good life wherever they are. But they also know that they can come to Israel and to live there if they want to.
Ao sair de Belmonte, qual é a mensagem que leva para a sua embaixada, para o seu país?
There are two messages that I take from this visit back home. The first one is that there is here a very important Jewish community and a very important Jewish story that is still needed to be told, and for us, as I said before, representative of the Jewish state, to connect to this story and to help, first of all, by telling this story, and secondly, the Jewish community that is here. So that's message one. Message two, which I think it is very important to be told, is something that it was, I think, very important to the mayor of the city to show me and to speak with me about, is that Belmonte, the issue of the Jewish community and the story of the Jewish community here is unique and very, very important. But it's not only that. Belmonte is also many other things. And I think those other things, besides the Jewish community issue, are also possibilities for us to cooperate and to work together. And there are many things we could do on the tourist level, but also on economic level, things that maybe we can bring more Israeli technology here and to see how we could deepen the connections between Israel and this area at large, and the city of Belmonte in particular. So that's also another thing that we need to look at.
Uma última questão, Sr. Embaixador. Que mensagem deixa a comunidade judaica de Belmonte, também da nossa região, aqui a partir de Belmonte, para os judeus que nos veem e nos escutam?
I think it's very simple. You need to keep working and telling the story of the past, both the Jews and the non-Jews of this area. Keep working on telling this important story of the past, because at the end of the day, from this past, we learn a lot for the future, for the present, but also for the future. So I think that's, if there is one big message that we all can learn from what's going on here when it comes to the story of the Jewish community, is how strong and important it and vital to learn our past, to learn the things, the good things that we did, the bad things that we did, but to understand them, to realize them, and to learn from them in order to have a better future for us and for our children and our grandchildren. So I think that's something that we all can learn from the story of Belmonte.
Muito obrigado, Sr. Embaixador, por nos ter então concedido esta entrevista e desejar continuação de uma boa estadia e uma boa viagem de regresso também.
Muito obrigado.